Okay. Mm-hmm. Right. Hello, Anish. Good morning. Guys, do not take a lot of burden this morning. What we've done is absolutely fine. All I want you to remember is that you're going to do exceptionally well. Just keep in mind now how to manage your time, how to keep yourself stress free. Those are the things which are important. Put in your hand. Just go through the paper. It's very important. Okay, now some people have repeatedly asked that I share with you the trick for framing 10 good questions for interview. Well, I think the idea is to divide the personality's life into stages. What we do is we talk about his or her past life, present life, and the future life. So I believe that that's the best way that you will do it. You can divide the personality's life into three stages. Okay, now another thing some people have asked is about APJ Abdul Kalam, and the question is it important to give the heading just questions of the interview, or can we give some other heading when it is topic like interview with APJ Abdul Kalam? Yes, yes, you can give the heading as interview with APJ Abdul Kalam, but of course you have to bear in mind that he is no more with us, so it won't be a question that you can expect because he is no more with us. I mean, of course, replacing his name with some other personality, but you can give that as an heading. An interview with Saina Nehwal, an interview with Virat Kohli, an interview with Mukesh Ambani, something like that. And yes, another thing is most of the writing skill questions, guys, can be finished on one single page. So I'm very positive about this. If you start, on a fresh page, every new question which we will do at the board, should be able to complete it in one page. Most of the questions can be done on one single page. Okay, fine. In the letter writing while enclosing, another doubt I have. In the letter writing while enclosing some important documents, where shall we write it? Should it be after completing the letter? Yes, of course. After you complete the letter as a footnote, you should write it that I am the enclosures line. It is always is the enclosure. So you enclose your the copy of your latest resume along with some certificates if they are necessary. Good morning. Good morning. Nice bright morning. Welcome everybody. All right. Uh, we have discussed enough about the pencil and the pen issue. I seriously, I cannot believe that there's so much of drama and hysteria over use of pencil. Personally, I will say that pencil is always better, but some school teachers apparently have said that uh, pen is the only choice that they should have. So why risk it? You can use pen, no doubt about that. The one thing you should make sure is not using a black pen. That's for sure. Yes, hi Sahil, good morning. Yes, you've all studied very well, and there is nothing to worry about. Studied very well. All right. For the writing skill, oh, sorry, the activity-based questions, I'm sure you've gone through whatever we discussed yesterday about the textbook and the activities over there. The one thing that we probably have not touched upon yesterday are suffix and prefixes. I'm sure you know how to do them. So they are important for the word formations like the noun forms, verb forms, adjective forms, and also for the antonyms like wanted, unwanted, etc. The common acrostic question that you could have is Vigbjör. You know, the Vigbjör is are the seven colors of the rainbow. And another good doubt yesterday I had was when you write the acrostic, it's necessary to make a complete sentence. Well, no, not a complete sentence. You just need to have a complete idea, not a complete sentence. Yes, we are talking about time management, isn't it? Well, realistically, when you get the paper, first 5 minutes are for you to just go through and leave the last 50 minutes to 1 hour for your writing skill. The last 50 minutes to 1 hour should be left for the writing skill. You should do the poem in about half an hour and the rapid reader in about 15 minutes. The first 1 hour, 1 hour, 30 minutes, almost half of the time can be spent on passages. Just remember that calculation roughly in your mind because you will have two seen passages, two unseen passages. So you can easily spend about 1 hour 20 minutes to 1 hour 30 minutes on those. No, I don't think Shaunak that's a good idea. Writing all the personal response questions at the last. No, I would suggest you keep following a proper order. I wouldn't recommend going that way. It's always better. That's why I'm saying that for passages, personal response are for the passages. So what you should do is spend 1 hour 20 to 1 hour 30 minutes for the passages. But solve it along with the other questions. Don't leave them, especially towards the end. Take 1 hour 30 minutes for, or approximately 1 hour 20 minutes or something for passages, and include the personal response questions there. You luckily don't have unseen poems. That's great. You just have two seen poems. Now, remember one thing that you have to sign documents about, that the presentee and the hall ticket and supplement numbers. So spare last 5 minutes for that purpose exclusively. Of course, the time that I have suggested here in the chat, it's always plus minus 5. Right. I hope that you have gone through all the figures of speech of the poems. Personal response, okay, the ideal length for personal response is about 5 to 6 lines. That's how big they should be. Okay. Mm. So can we write writing skills at the first and other things at the last? Yes, you can do that. That's okay. You can start with the writing skills. That's okay. Okay. Tournament. What is it? Come again. Self what? Self tournament. Tournament? I'm not sure there's a word like that. Please check. Torment. Okay. Hi. There is a word like torment, but not tournament. If you want torment, yes, that is the mental suffering or physical or mental suffering. That is the meaning of torment, but not tournament. Hi, Prathamesh. There is this word, okay, but not tournament. All right. Now, another doubt I have. Okay, for the simple complex compound, we have discussed this enough, guys. There are so many times that I have told you that for simple complex compound, you need to check out the video. Please do that. One thing for simple sentence you need to remember, guys, is that if you are using in spite of, then you have to use the noun form after that. So in spite of and then a noun form. And also do not neglect that for making it a simple sentence, you can use an infinitive. That is one more way of making a simple sentence. Just remember that. Climax and anticlimax. Okay, anticlimax is when negative ideas are expressed, and climax is when positive ideas are expressed. If you remember the first poem, where you have the about television, you have this line: they never fight or kick or punch. Well, that can be considered easily as a negative idea, so it can be considered as an anticlimax. But when they are positive things, nice things, and they are arranged one after the other, then they go in the ascending order because they get better and better. And the negative ideas, no, they come downwards. So that is an example of an anticlimax. Not only but also is compound. That's a very good question. If it is not only but also, then it's compound. That's a nice question. If you use not only but also, then it becomes compound. Uh, Not only but also are coordinators. So that those are compound. Hmm, that's a good one. Now, what else do you need to remember, guys? When in your textbook on page 182, there is this nice activity about reported speech, about direct and indirect speech on page 182. Very nice. You have it as part A and part B. So you have a part where it's all the direct speech, and the B as the indirect speech. You can take a look at that particular activity 830 on page 182. Mm-hmm. Right. Page 182. Exactly. That's what I said. Page 182. Uh, just keep in mind the ideas about no sooner than and the use of did if it is past tense. Do's and don'ts. The poem Pollutions very helpful here. The do's and don'ts, guys. Do's and don'ts. Page number 99 in the textbook for do's and don'ts. Textbook page 99. There's a nice activity there about what should we do to save our earth. The do's and don'ts to save the earth. That's also a very good question. You can go through that as well. Okay. hmm Now, eradicating superstition is another topic that you can expect this year, because we've talked a lot about scientific attitude and not having blind faith. And your textbook on page 96 has got some very nice ideas about eradicating superstition. That's on page 96. You can go and check that out. Page 96, page 99 of the textbook, guys. Hmm. One more thing is creating resume can be a very nice question. If you remember this lesson about Raghunath Mashelkar, so you can easily, or even Hanuman Gaikwad, you can easily make his own resume. Like when was he born, where was he born, what does he do, the name of the organization he runs, his mission in life. Those could be the points in making his resume. No, that is a very common expected question. Most of you are getting ready for your exams. We will continue this feed for another 15-20 minutes and then sign out. Oh, we discussed the time management. I think Aniket, you joined a little late. We discussed this 1 hour 20 minutes. I think let's see if I can copy that part again. Okay. Hmm. So 1 hour 20 minutes for passages and 30 minutes, half an hour for poems, 15 minutes for the rapid reader. That's how it is going to be. Format for email writing, well, that's exactly from the textbook, is it not? It's on this page 100 and I believe. One second. It's on 110. Yes, textbook page 110. The email draft is there. Or the only difference over there on page 110 is that big email box. It's actually that to box. You have to mention the ID of the person you're sending it to. Very important. Okay. Right. Okay. Are there any final suggestions, doubts that you need? Okay. On page 75, you could have a pie diagram to study. That's also a very nice idea. Page 75 of the text for the pie diagram or the pie chart. Could easily do that. That's about, I believe, about energy and how India produces its energy. Mhm. Imaginary, yes, of course. If they ask you the dialogues, it could be an imaginary dialogue. Who knows? The point is, if you get stuck up in one question, I sincerely want you to spend not more than 3 4 or maybe at the most 5 minutes trying to get the answer. But after that, I think you should move on to some other question. Come back to it later. That's the best way. So I'm going to say think for about 5 minutes and then move to another question. Later, come back. That's the best way to do it. I don't like the idea of wasting a hell lot of time over one question. Don't let that happen. Right. Okay. Should you should we write intro at the start? Yes, for interview you can write down uh, an intro. You can do that. Yes, yes, you're right. Should do that. Okay, even for a fact file, I have asked you to write an intro. If you remember any fact file, any hill station, any resort that they are talking about, please make sure that you write an intro. Very important. Yeah. Noun. And also yes, yes, even for the dialogues you can write down the intro. Frivolousness, you should add ness. Frivolousness, the noun form of that. You add that. You add ness to that. Look, this is a special flight, he explained. He explained to them that it was a special flight. Hmm. He asked them to look and said that that was a special flight. You can use it like that. Here the word look actually can mean two things. One, it is actually to look, and the other one is just a way of talking. You add ness there. Okay. Hmm. Okay, frivolousness was a very nice question, actually. Just remember adding ness. I'm sure you've gone through that video where I've discussed noun forms and everything. For view counter view on page 62, you've got a very good question. Textbook. Yes, degrees. Okay. Just remember one of the. Just remember that one of the part. If it is one of the, then you're going to start with very few. I believe that Taksang Gompa line is very important. If it is like that. If it is one of the, then you start the positive degree with very few. Let's take one example. Hmm, just give me a moment, Ulu. Okay, here is a good line you can consider. Hmm, page number 15 on page at page 59. Okay, Guys, I'm trying to find a good example of degrees here. I will definitely do a line on that. At the moment, page 59, activity A16, A15. Yes, saying thank you. Sure. Mind you, that those are the questions that we discussed in one of the earlier sessions. Yes, activity 15 on page 59 should be a good one to study. I was looking for a good example for the degree question from the lesson 8.2, because we have got enough examples from tracking India. If you have to explain perseverance is the key to success. Perseverance is the key to success. Basically, you need to, in the first paragraph, mention what, according to you, is perseverance. It's about not giving up. It's about continuing your efforts or continuing to take efforts in order to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. So, the first paragraph, you need to explain what perseverance is, and you have to understand that you merely trying once and failing in that attempt doesn't mean that you give up. You should keep trying. That's perseverance. And the second paragraph, you can give good examples. I believe the one example that comes to my mind is Thomas Edison. You know how many times he tried to light that bulb. There are recorded, this is recorded statistics. Probably 999 times he failed, and 1,000 experiment was successful. So that is perseverance. You keep trying that. You have a lesson on Saina Nehwal. So that's another great example of perseverance. Use that as your second paragraph. It should be about 3/4 to 1 full scale. Yes, yes, we will talk about degrees, guys. Okay, I'm going to type a line on my WordPad and then you should try to change the degree. Try to change this, okay? Kodaikanal is one of the, now you need to remember this. Okay, try and do this. Kodaikanal is one of the most scenic mountain drives in the country. Everybody, let's try and do this. Well, in the view counter view, it depends on what is asked. So you don't have to decide whether you have to write in support or disagreement with. If they ask you to write the view, then if the counter view is given, of course you write the opposite. So it really depends on what is asked and what they expect from you. You don't have to decide it on your own. So Kodaikanal is one of the most scenic mountain drives. Let's do this. Page 30. Okay. Yes, we talked about it yesterday. Yes, we talked about it yesterday. This activity on page 30. Yeah, A21, the instructions. So that those are, I think, that's self-explanatory there. They have given you about 6 to 7 of those instructions about how the school manages itself. So you just have to complete the line. Of course, you don't have to draw a box like that. They've done. You can just make it simple. But that's exactly what it is. This could be about anything. This could be the rules of your complex or your society, your apartment as well. So they just want you to write down those instructions. Okay, so very few mountain drives in a country. Why would you write in a country? In the country are as scenic as Kodaikanal. Positive. That's correct. I'm very impressed. That's very good. And what about the comparative degree? Discourse markers. Okay, discourse markers are just expressions when we talk. Like for example, well, actually, I mean, those expressions are discourse markers. Remember that. So yeah, and the comparative degree. Yes, the comparative degree should be Kodaikanal is more scenic than most other mountain drives in the country. Ooh, not most, yeah, more scenic. You should definitely use the word more here. Kodaikanal is more scenic. Yes, Kodaikanal is more scenic than most other. Just remember, it's more scenic. So Kodaikanal is more scenic than most other mountain drives in the country. All right. Just remember the discourse markers, okay? Well, and okay, I hope you know, do remember what are collocations, guys? Very important that you actually remember what are collocations. Yes, very important. And if you remember the double E word formation, very important. Uh, Double E for the agent, meaning, for example, drawer. You have the drawee. You remember that particular activity that we did? What was your doubt, Harak? Okay, simple complex compound. Come on, there is an entire video for that, dude. We have discussed that so many times. Okay, give us this day our daily bread. What the figures of speech? Well, this could be the synecdoche because over here the bread stands for the entire livelihood. No, we want double E. Yes, it is synecdoche because bread stands for the entire livelihood. Yeah. Let's do one more of the double E thing, guys. Employer, employee. One more. You should know five of them before you go to the paper. The double E thing, and it's definitely there in the textbook. Okay. One more, guys. I want more examples. Double E examples, exactly. The employer, you have employee. Drawer, you have drawee. More examples. What about this one? Payer, someone who pays money, and someone to whom the money is paid. Addresser, addressee. Yeah, okay. Addresser, addressee is right. Brilliant. Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, one more like that could be trainer, trainee. Very important. Okay, we're going to stop at 8:30 sharp, guys. 10 more minutes. By the way, if you're wondering where this double E activity is, it's on 176. Page 176. Yeah. Common subordinators were okay. Common subordinators are because, since, as, although, before, after. Those are all subordinators. Just remember these four: and, or, but, yet are coordinators. Barring them, all are subordinators. Compound sentences use coordinators. Complex sentences use subordinators. Wall is mural. I think it's hepatic. Hepatic is the word for liver. Hepatic. Anything related to liver is hepatic. And yeah, personal. Some key steps for personal response. First is the length. You have to keep it about 5 to 6 sentences for personal response. And if you use any good word from the glossary vocabulary, please underline it. And do not forget to support your view. For example, if your personal response answer is yes, then you have to support it with the reasons for yes. No. Renal is for kidney. Renal is the word for kidney. Hepatic is the word for liver. He asked me liver. Haha. Surely we can have it, Shaunak. We can have these sessions for to enrich your vocabulary. You can do that. I think then we have to agree on a certain timing that we could all be together. Then you can have these live sessions for vocabulary. Meanwhile, I'm sure you can check out the other videos. Can we use proverbials in personal response? Yes, you can. You can use the proverbials, but not too many. I mean, one is enough because that will be overcooking the pudding, really. You cannot use more proverbs, more than one. No, don't do that. Title for personal response is not necessary. Do not. No. For the personal response, you don't do that. Of course, the important thing to understand is that you have to support your own answer. If you say yes, okay, last 5 minutes, guys. Yeah. Okay, guys, all the best. Do your paper very well. Make sure that you read the questions carefully, and I mean carefully. Don't be confused with the words like assertive, affirmative, and everything. Just read the question very carefully before you actually start attempting. Make good choices. I have no doubt that you will do well. And please, after the exam, I would like to have a copy of the question paper. So make sure that someone sends me a photo after the exam. Okay, modal auxiliaries very quickly. Okay, last of the doubts I'll handle. Modal auxiliaries. You have words like must, um, should, ought to, um, need to, for obligation, may, might, for possibility, can, could, for ability, uh, will is for certainty, used to, would for habit or past, may, can, could for seeking permission. Yes, Aditya, you say you are back, but you're back when we are almost about to stop. So yeah, well done. We have done enough revision. There is no doubt that you will do well. Remember what I said. Just be calm at the paper. Of course, send me a photo later of how the paper went for you guys. Yeah, well done. And yes, Shaunak, your suggestion was very good. We could have such sessions even after the exams. Why not? We could agree on a time to be together and we could do it. So I hope that everybody you were yeah, yeah, yeah. I hope that I've solved your queries. I mean, I could do the best I could. So make sure that you don't study until the very last minute of the exams. You don't have to do that. You've already put in enough of efforts. Just do some light revision. For the last 1 hour, I believe, or half an hour, you can just relax. You've done enough already. So all the best. See you. Bye bye. Yeah, thank you.